It's time for a pattern review to a set I just completed this week. So if that's some content you would like to see, keep on watching. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Rochelle from Rochelle.Handmade.Designs, and in this video I am going to be sharing a quick pattern review, just like you guys like it, to a set that I just finished sewing up. All right, now the two patterns that I use are Simplicity 9684 and Simplicity 8518 for the pants. Now, before we get started, do not forget to hit that like button, subscribe button, and also turn on the notification bell so you are notified every time I upload a new video. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Hello, ciao, guten tag, aloha, hola, konnichiwa, wagwan, bonjour. If you are returning, you know what to do. Go get you a quick snack, something to drink, come on back so we could go ahead and get into this pattern review. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and give you that pattern review. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the first one. The first thing I'm gonna start with is the pants, which is Simplicity 8518. All right, so the pattern review, the first pattern review I'm going to do is for the classic slim cut pants. You could wear these as like joggers or even pajamas, okay? Now, I actually wore them to work and they were super comfy, okay? Because I kind of made them a little stylish for the sake of work instead of just your regular pajamas, all right? So the pattern description for this just says that it's Mrs. Slim Fit Lounge Pants, okay? So this can be made as a mommy and me, Mrs. and woman's or girls and Mrs. size pattern as well. Let's go ahead and talk about notion shoes. So the notion shoes for this pattern, according to the back of the pattern envelope, says it's just 3 5/8 inch buttons. If you are doing it for a girl, but I did it for myself, a missus, and I think I used 3/4 inch buttons, and then I just used some elastic. The size elastic that I use for mine is 1 inch, but it does call for 1.5 inch elastic. Okay, I just made my casing a little bit smaller because I was using 1 inch instead of that 1.5 inch. But that's the notions used for this pattern. Let's go ahead and talk about the fabric used. Now, if you looked at my weekly sewing plan, which I will link to on the end screen, as well as in the description box below, it will show you the fabric that I use. I'm also going to put the fabric that I use in the description box below so you're able to see that. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the pattern pieces. Now, you guys, the pattern pieces is 12 pattern pieces, okay? However, pattern pieces that I really don't consider like a necessarily pattern piece, it's like the elastic guide, the tie ends is very, very small. The right tab, the left tab. I mean, like, it's 12 pattern pieces, but it sews together really, really quickly. And this is an easy to sew pattern as well. So on your next trip to Joann's, make sure that you get Simplicity 8518, okay? So for the pattern pieces, you need 12 pattern pieces. You need your front, your fly facing, your fly, your underlap, your pocket facing, your front yoke and pocket, the back, the casing, the right front tab, the left front tab, the tie ends, and your elastic guide. Those are all the pattern pieces that you need for this pattern and to construct 8518. Let's talk about pattern sizing. Now, for this pattern, it comes in one pattern envelope, and those sizes are girls, small to large, and then the misses, extra small to extra large, okay? So the size that I cut was a medium for my pattern, and I did do modifications. Speaking of modifications, did I make any modifications? Yes, I did. So what I did was I added 2 3/4 inch to the front pattern piece, right? And then the back pattern piece, I lowered by 2 inches. Now, I know you guys are going to ask me, I thought it said to do whatever you do to the front, you do to the back. It's normally what instructions or any type of modification says. However, I know that for the front, I needed more room, not for a tummy or anything like that. I measured my crotch depth. Now, if you do not know how to measure your crotch depth, and your crotch curve, go back to the video where I did a sew along for the cargo pants. I will link to it in the description box below on how to do your crotch depth and your crotch curve. That's what I took the measurement based off of for the front and the back pattern in order to do my pants, okay? So that's why I needed to add that 2 3/4 inch to the front and lower the back because it was way too high. It would have pretty much went to my tramp stamp, if you know what that is, right? It would have went there for my pants and I did not want it there, okay? So I did remove 2 inches from the back and added 2 3/4 inch to the front, and it fits perfect, okay? So that is the modification that I did. Let's go ahead and talk about, did it look like the photos or the drawing on the pattern envelope? Absolutely yes. The pants look exactly like it did for the pattern envelope. I want to go back to one thing with the modifications. I did add a snap to the top portion of my pants. So I'm going to show you that as well. So right here, this is my pants and they fit amazing. So right here, you have the tie ends. You also have the buttons right here. You know, on the inside, you have buttons. And then at the top, instead of me doing buttons, I did a snap to keep it together. And the reason why, it just added an extra detail to the top portion of my pants. So right here, you see the little snap and you could just snap it right here. So I did that to my pants. You do not have to. You can do a button as well. But these are the pants that I did. Simplicity 8518 for these as well. So yes, they do look like the pattern and the drawing on the pattern envelope. Let's talk about, are the instructions easy to follow? So yes, the instructions are easy to follow. However, I sewed these pair of pants before. I talked about it in my weekly sewing plans that it's been a hot minute since I sewed these pants, okay? So yes, I have sewn these before. I did need to make modifications from the previous time that I sewed this pattern as well, but yes, the instructions are easy to follow. Let's talk about likes and dislikes. So there's no dislikes whatsoever. It's all love. I like this pattern. I will sew this pattern again. Also, any first time experiences? No. No first time experiences whatsoever. Like I said, I have done it again. I have done snaps. I have done buttons. I have done casings and drawstrings and all that stuff. Now this one, it's not a drawstring. It's just a tie in to keep it tight. So I did like that portion as well. But one thing I will say is to make sure you put the casing on correctly. Because if you do not put the casing on correctly, you will end up having to sift the elastic through on the right side, and you need to be sifting it through on the wrong side, and you want the little openings to be on the inside instead of the outside. So that's just a tip and a note because I almost sewed it on the wrong way. So I'm just helping you out if you have this pattern. Let's talk about, you know, would I recommend this pattern to others? Absolutely. If you do not have this pattern, you can always check eBay, Etsy, or Amazon in order to get this pattern, okay? But I did check and it is still in the Joann's pattern drawer. So on the next Simplicity sale, grab this pattern. It's a good one. You could thank me later, okay? And then also my pattern rating, I'm gonna stamp these pants a 5 out of 5. I love this pattern. I will do it in a cotton fabric. Now this fabric that I used is a flannel fabric because I did want it to be, you know, for the warmer weather. For the colder weather. However, it's now like 85 degrees here in Florida. And then when I took the pictures of the pants, it was still light outside in the middle of the day. And then I had to go back to work, tried to take pictures after work, and it didn't work out so well. However, that's it for this pattern review of the pants. Let's go ahead and talk about the hooded coat, which is Simplicity 9684. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the hooded coat, which is Simplicity 9684. Now this pattern description, I'm just gonna give my own. This is an easy to sew hooded coat and jacket and 3 different lengths. I did view C, the shortest length. Now, The reason why I did the shortest length is simply because I do have a little bit more of this fabric left, and I do want to make a button down shirt, which I know you're wondering, like, if it's 80-something degrees in Orlando, why are you making flannel? However, you never know when it's going to get cold, so I rather make it now and put it on when it gets much colder, because we've been having cold fronts here and there, just all of a sudden a cold front for like 2 days, and then it goes back to being 80 degrees. I know. Wait 5 minutes and the weather will change, all right? So let's go ahead and talk about the notions used. Now, for the notions used for this pattern, Simplicity 9684, the hooded jacket, the only thing that you need is a 7/8 inch button. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I did not have a 7/8 inch button. I didn't even have a 1 inch button, but I did have a 3/4 inch button, so that's what I use for this pattern. All right, let's talk about the fabric used. The fabric used is the same fabric that I use for the pants, which you will hear that in the sew along. So just a quick caveat, I did a sew along to this pattern, Simplicity 9684, so stay tuned for when that sew along drop over the weekend. All right, let's go ahead and talk about pattern sizing. Pattern pieces. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the pattern pieces, but you're gonna see it again in the sew along that will drop over the weekend, all right? So you will just need, depending on what view you're doing, if you are doing view A and B, you will need all 6 pattern pieces. Pattern piece 1, which is the hood and the front, and 1A is an extension, okay? Pattern piece number 2, the back. Pattern piece number 3, the pockets. Pattern piece number 4, the loop. Pattern piece number 5, the sleeve front. And then pattern piece number 6 is your sleeve back. Those are all the pieces that you will need in order to construct this jacket, and it is a quick and easy sew, all right? Let's go ahead and talk about pattern sizing. So for this pattern, it does come in 2 pattern sizes. It comes 6 to 14 and 14 to 24. The size that I cut, believe it or not, it's still a little big, but I cut a size 10. And the reason why I cut a size 10 is because looking at like the bust, the waist, and the hip measurement was pretty much spot on, but everything else was a little big, and I'm not mad about it. But I could have probably cut a size 6 or even an 8 in the bust and the waist, and then graded it out to a 10 at the hips. I didn't want to do that, so I just cut one side and made it work. All right. All right, I know that's laziness, but if I decide to go in and take it in, which I don't plan on doing, because like I said, I could wear this as like, if I get cold in my home when it's colder, I could definitely just go throw on this jacket. This is the jacket right here, just to let you know, and I'm gonna put pictures up here shortly of this jacket as well, okay? So this is the hooded jacket coat that I made using the same fabric, all right? All right, so let's go ahead and talk about modifications. Did I make any modifications? No, I did not make any modifications to the jacket. I sewn it as is. I didn't feel like I needed to make any modifications to this pattern whatsoever. Let's talk about, did it look like the photos or the drawing on the pattern envelope? To be honest with you, yes. However, I was not feeling the photos whatsoever that I took, because it was becoming dark time and I was really trying to get some lighting, and I was moving so much to try to get good lighting outside at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So, you know, I am going to put the pictures up. However, I want to retake a lot of these photos. I will probably retake again when I wear the outfit again. Sometimes I don't get to retake them immediately because, you know, when you work outside the home, you just don't have time to take a lot of photos. So I'm trying to get on a schedule once again because my schedule changed, okay? So are the instructions easy to follow? Yes, they're easy to follow. This is an easy to sew pattern as well, which is why I chose to do a sew along. I know in my weekly plans video, I said I may not be able to get a sew along done, but while I was sewing it, I decided to turn on my camera. I know you guys have asked me, what kind of camera do you use? If you ever looked at me doing I never did like a tour of my sewing studio, but I did do like a little clip of me cleaning up my sewing studio when I was organizing some fabric back last year sometime. And you guys seen a camera hanging from my ceiling. That is a GoPro. It is a GoPro 10 is what I use to film, and I use a GoPro 11 to do all of my sit down videos. That's what I'm recording on right now. It is a GoPro 11, okay? So I told you what cameras that I use. I use a 10 and 11 in order to do all of my videos, okay? And then of course, lighting. I have lighting everywhere, okay? So I know you guys been asking me that, and I pretty much have probably never answered it because it is in the description box below, but I figured to answer you guys now, okay? It's a GoPro 10 and a GoPro 11 are the two cameras that I use for filming and, you know, like a sit down right here, okay? So yes, you can use a microphone with it as well. All right, back to the pattern review, likes and dislikes. I do not have any dislikes per se. I do like the pattern, but there are some things that I would change if I sew it again. So like the pockets I feel are just too far down. If you are doing view C, they are too far down. You might want to extend the length of it about 2 inches to have that pocket not peek out through the bottom like I seen in a couple of my photos. So yeah, that's the only thing that I dislike about the pattern. Other than that, I love it as well. All right. Let's talk about first time experiences. I don't have any first time experiences because I have sewn a hooded coat, a hooded jacket before. So I don't have any first time experience. I actually enjoyed sewing this pattern. All right. Would I recommend this pattern to others? Yes, I would. I feel like you should do this pattern. I will be dropping a sew along for this pattern. So you will have all the tools and what you need to sew this pattern together. All right. Would I sew this pattern again? I might. To be honest, I might sew this pattern again. I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna sew this pattern again. Reason being is because I have tons of patterns. You guys have asked me this again. How many patterns do you have? I have over 3,000 patterns in my stash. What do I use to store my patterns? I actually use 2 6-inch drawers. So it's like a dresser drawer. I have 2 of them underneath my stairs in my little, I'm gonna call it my underneath the stairs closet. You guys have seen this in the video before when I did a quick introduction to how I started sewing for hashtag, I think it was September sorority, I think is what it was, that I actually introduced myself and how I started sewing. So I did kind of show those a little bit, but it's 12 drawers that I have. And then I have a whole bunch of them from previous years outside in my garage. All right. It's just some bins that I have labeled and everything. I may show you guys that at some other time, but not in this video. All right. And my pattern rating. So my pattern rating for this, I'm going to actually give it a 4 out of 5. And the reason why is because I feel like it has a lot of ease. Now on the pattern envelope, not the pattern envelope, but the pattern tissue, it does say that it is a size of like 10.5 inches of ease. That is a lot of ease. So you may want to go down a size or 2 when you're choosing the sides to cut. However, I'm going to say this again, make sure you measure the bust, the waist, and the hips for the front and the back. Like I have showed you guys how to size up patterns and check those measurements from my video from Butterick. I think it's 60-24 or something like that. It was the shacket pattern that I did for a Berta pattern. I'll go ahead and link to it in the description box below if you are still confused on how to size up your patterns, how to measure the patterns to make sure that it will fit. All right. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you are notified every time I upload a new video. So I'll catch you in the next video. And as always, keep sewing.